Hi, and welcome to this edition of the Insurance Experts. It's my pleasure to have my good friend on the line, Christy Johnson. Christy's both a long-term care expert and also a short-term care expert, which is a long-term care alternative. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure, Mark. Good to see you as well.
So there aren't a lot of people out there that are experts in long-term care alternatives, let alone being long-term care specialist agents. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the space.
I used to work for a large agency helping agents position products to their clients, and I decided to go to the other side because of my passion for long-term care and getting the word out there.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you helped agents in the past, and now you're actually working with clients directly. What's kind of motivated you to want to work with clients directly?
Personal experience. I went through a situation with my parents where we didn't know about long-term care, and I really think it could have saved our family.
Oh, wow, saved your family. What happened in your situation with your parents?
Well, my stepdad had a really rare disease called progressive supranuclear palsy, and the care was at home, and it was all on my mom, and she wouldn't let anybody take care of him. She ended up with stage 3 uterine cancer. So then we had to put him in a home. So we had to scramble. She had cancer treatments, and then she ended up passing away. So it was a sad situation.
Yeah, and I think this is a very common story. I'm sure people out there listening to this are kind of nodding their heads. The biggest issue with people who need care is that oftentimes the caregiver's health deteriorates. And, it's a financially draining experience. It's emotionally draining. It's very stressful. And in your case, it sounds like that stress really took its toll on your mom.
It really did, and it tore our family apart. And we just can't get it repaired at this point. And it's been over 10 years. So
Do you have any siblings?
I have a sister.
Okay. And so you said it tore your family apart. Kind of what was the situation with you guys dealing this from your perspective, watching your parents going through this?
Well, she ended up with doing a lot of the care because I'm 8 hours away. So I think that put a wedge in between us. And then we had issues with the trust and settling everything out.
Right.
So the building process.
Your sister lived close by to them. You lived further away. And so kind of by nature, she had to deal with the brunt of it. And therefore, there was a tension between you guys. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and these are stories. Again, we hear these a lot, but I can picture why you want to help families out there avoid the trauma that you've kind of personally.
That's my passion.
Okay. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about a story, and in particular, I think our theme here today is a little bit about why it's never too late to get a plan in place. And I know you worked with a client recently. Why don't you tell us about how you came across this client?
Oh, Miss Kate. I have a Facebook page, and she had answered, we were talking about long-term care alternatives, and she had answered me that, she was sorry she was too old. And so I reached out to her and I talked to her. And after a series of lunches with her, we signed her up for a short-term care plan.
Okay, so let's talk first about how old was she?
She was 80 years old.
Okay.
80 years old, a single woman, raised dogs, been married 8 times, just like Liz Taylor, as she said. So she was quite the character.
Yeah, I got to hear about her life story sometime. Yeah. But where did you get this impression that it was too late for her because she was 80 years old?
Because first of all, she put it out right there on my Facebook page. And then when I talked to her, she said that she went to her med sup agent and he looked into long-term care and said it was too expensive for her. And that was when she was 78.
Interesting. Yeah. And there's always some truth in this. As you get into your late 70s, the plans can get more expensive on the long-term care side. But as I know you're going to talk about, there are other options. You say long-term care alternatives. What was the alternative that you were thinking about for her situation?
We did a home health care alternative with her. It gave her $300 a day for 360 days. And it was 2 questions. Are you in a nursing home? Do you plan on going in a nursing home? And that was it. Mm-hmm. So very easy for her to get, less than $85 a month. And it gave her peace of mind that she could have a nurse come in, physical therapist, people of that nature come in and help her.
Yeah, and so what we're talking about here, there's a type of product called short-term care. It's available in about 40 states. There are some states where it's a new enough product where they're still trying to get their arms around the regulatory aspect of it. But I'm sure it surprised a lot of people to hear that even though she's 80 years old, she can pay $85 a month. And even though she's not getting an extended care plan, she's going to get the first 360 days covered at a maximum of $300 a day, which is quite a bit of coverage. So I think a lot of people out there who think that they don't have an option actually may find that to be very attractive, right?
Right. And then the one thing I did forget to mention, it also has a home health care aid benefit as well for $60 a day. I want to say 60 days for the year. So
Right.
that's a good benefit
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, and most of the plans that are of the shorter care variety don't even have a waiting period. In the
Right.
long-term care world, we call it an elimination period. So it has a 0-day wait, means she gets to get up to 360 days. And if anything else, it buys her time. So if she does have a longer-term care event, she has the first part of it covered, the most important part of it covered, and then she can kind of reassess the plan, or her family can reassess her plan later on in the process.
Right. So
Okay,
it's
well,
fit for her.
exactly. So, well, I know that you're an expert in this, and it's important when you're dealing with long-term care and short-term care to make sure that you work with an insurance specialist, because the plans are quite different. Even in the short-term care space, the one that Christy selected for this client might be different from one she would select for other clients, correct?
Correct.
And it's just all based on your needs and customizing it to your situation. So, well, I appreciate you for joining us, sharing your personal story. That's not an easy thing to do. And I hope to have you on future episodes as well.
Absolutely, Mark. Good seeing you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.